If you are backpacking or traveling through the Balkans right now, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen closely. Stop booking standard public transit buses. Seriously, there is a massive hidden travel hack that almost nobody talks about on TikTok or travel blogs, and it is about to save you your sanity, your wallet, and literally hours of your life.
Right now, we are in the beautiful Budva, Montenegro. Seriously, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we are considering, as part of our next travel, traveling to the iconic historic town of Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina. But if you try to book this route through traditional transit sites, you're in for a massive headache. Today we're going to be breaking down the ultimate transportation cheat code that we just use to get across borders seamlessly, and how you can do it anywhere. So like in Albania, Montenegro, Croatia, or even Bosnia.
Hi, we're Josh and Petra, early retirees traveling the world slowly while sharing honest insights about retirement and life on the road. Join us and share in the journey. To understand why this hack is so powerful, we have to look at how painful moving between Balkan countries usually is. First, you have public buses. On paper, they look fine, but in reality, they are rarely direct routes between smaller cultural hubs. Trying to get from Budva to Mostar often means taking a bus up to Kotor, transferring to a different regional line, switching again near the border, or routing all the way through Dubrovnik in Croatia just to get back down into Bosnia-Herzegovina. You're navigating 3 different uncoordinated timetables, paying 3 separate ticket fees, and wasting an entire day on a hot curb.
Well, what about trains, you say? Well, the rail system through some of these mountainous border regions can be incredibly limited or even non-existent in order to cross the border into these different countries. You can think about private transfers, but that can get really costly.
Oh, yeah.
150 to maybe even 300 euros.
Yeah.
And then if you're a solo traveler or couple or even on a budget, that amount of money can really destroy the funds, pretty quickly that you have. So if you're trapped choosing between losing a day of travel, between taking like some of it private taxis, some of it trains, some of it buses, where now you're spending a ton of time, or are you trapped between losing your money in order to make it a more realistic and not a 12-14 hour day? Right.
So here's the secret twist. Enter the tour bus hack. Scattered all across the Balkans are dozens of highly active local tour agencies. Companies like Epic Tours in Albania, or the local agencies right here on the streets of Montenegro. Every single day, these companies run day trips and multi-day excursions for tourists. They take a group from point A to point B to see a famous site and then bring them back again.
Right. So they don't really explicitly advertise on these massive booking engines. They often have empty seats, and they're more happy to fill those seats by selling you a cheap one-way ticket, right? With that in mind, when you buy a one-way ticket on a tour bus, you aren't paying for actually the guided excursion to like the museum or the churches or whatever's that final destination. What you're doing is you're paying them to occupy a seat on a vehicle that's already going that way, right? And that's the direction you need to go.
Yeah.
So it really becomes a form of transportation for you at a much reasonable price.
Yes. So let's talk about why this absolutely destroys standard transit. Convenience. There are 0 connections. The tour company is going directly to the destination city because that's where the attractions are. You throw your bags in the back, sit down, and don't look at a map again until you arrive. It's one way.
Yeah. Now, they might stop along the way for like a rest break or, for lunch or something like that, if it's going to take a little while to get there, but you're not making connections through another bus station or a train station.
Right.
You just get back on the same bus and head forward, which really then comes to the second thing, which is, comfort, because your public buses can be hit or miss. We've been on some good ones. We've been on some not so good ones. Sometimes the AC is broken or
there just isn't any.
Yeah, right. And maybe they're packed to capacity.
Yeah.
These tour buses are meant more for comfort. Now, can there absolutely, like we've been on some tour buses that were taking us to sites and back, and maybe some are more comfortable than the others, but generally they're trying to be pleasing, so they're getting good reviews, so people will take them, right?
That's
so
right.
Comfortable seats, air conditioning, things like that. Smooth rides.
Yeah.
Clean,
Yes.
being clean and comfortable.
Yes. And then the third thing is the big shocker, of course, is the cost. Because these companies are making their primary profit from the round trip tourists, the ones that are going on these trips to see these faraway places and then will return again, buying full excursion packages that the one-way travelers are just pure bonus money. So the price for those one-way trips are actually less than the tours themselves in some cases. So they'll often price a seat incredibly low, frequently matching or beating the combined cost of the multiple public bus tickets you would have had to buy anyway. So you're getting this private transfer.
Private. It is a tour bus.
Yes, it is a tour bus that you're sharing, but it's essentially a private transfer for the same price as booking multiple buses or trains or other things.
At a cheaper price.
At a cheaper price, yes.
So let's look how we actually got here to Budva. We were needing to get here from Durrës, right? And we really couldn't find the taxi. I'm so sorry, I lost my train of thought. The taxi was the cheapest one we could find for a taxi there was 240 euros, I think.
About 235 is what I was quoted.
And you were looking at a bus system because we couldn't really find a train.
Yeah. The bus system, it would have required 2 different buses, so we would have had to go from Durrës to Shkodër, and then in Shkodër grab another bus to take it to Budva.
Yeah. And we asked in a local expat group, hey, we're wanting to get to Budva from here in Durrës. Any thoughts on this, or how we can do this maybe cheaper and quicker,
Yeah.
And
just a note before she keeps going. We did make a video about using expats and expat groups.
That's true, we did.
You should check it out. It's a good one.
Information.
Good full of information.
And an expat had said, have you thought about a tour group? And we were like, blew our mind. We hadn't even thought of that.
Right.
So we got on, was it Get Your Guide?
Yes.
And we looked for a tour group that was going from Durrës to Budva. And found who the company was, and Josh contacted them.
Contacted them. So Get Your Guide had the
name of the company.
Company and the phone number. So I got on WhatsApp and sent them a text message and asked them, hey, do you guys ever take people one way on these tours? And if so, can I book something? And they said, yes, they do that. And so it was great.
And he even said, like, because we didn't know what kind of bus this was going to be, because we had gone on some day trips and they were like smaller vans. Had some space, so we didn't know what the bus was going to look like.
Right, had no idea.
And he said Josh had told them we will have 2 small backpacks and 2 small carry-ons, and they said no problem.
No, it was, and when I saw the bus, it was a full-size, regular-sized tour bus for,
Yes.
I don't know, 50, 60 people. It was full.
This one was full.
Unfortunately, there was no spare space to wiggle around in.
Yep. And we weren't necessarily the only person that was traveling this way. We did see another individual had some suitcases that they also loaded on. And so, but interestingly enough...
Yeah, we weren't the only ones that were getting on a one-way trip. We saw at least one other couple that got picked up in Tirana.
And what we went back to the posting, and what we found in the small print at the bottom, it said basically that they do this. Like, if you are looking for a one-way trip, we're happy to accommodate.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that we had really thought about before, because we hadn't thought about using that mode of transportation to get from one point to the next without coming back.
Yeah.
And it turned out we paid 33 euros per person, so 66 euros total, and that was a lot less than 235 euros.
Yeah, that was. So, I mean, it was a huge savings. It was on a bus. We didn't have to change from one bus to another. Connections can sometimes be a challenge, and timing is everything with those. And of course, the bus systems they try. I'll give them that. They try in the Balkan states. They're just not as meticulous on time as they are in Western Europe.
Now, and this, even though the bus was full, we stopped twice before we got here to Budva. We stopped once for like a small potty break. I think it was like 15, 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then we stopped a little bit further down the road for like a lunch break. I think it was about 45 minutes?
It was about an hour, actually.
About an hour. And we stopped at a great place that had a restaurant and then also a grocery store, so that you could eat, whatever, grab some snacks, whatever, get on and get back on the bus. Mm-hmm. So we didn't make that many stops, whereas if you're on like a public transportation, you might be stopping quite a bit, many times at all the different pickup spots. I guess we did stop for a couple different location pickup spots, like Tavat and...
Well, yeah, when they were filling up the bus, I'm assuming they stopped in Tavat or Kodor before they came to Durrës, and then they went from there up to Tirana, where they had numerous spots, and then we also stopped in Skoder for one person.
Yeah, but it was like 5 or 10 minutes per stop, where if you're actually stopping on a public bus, you might get in and then you have to wait until the published time in order to go. So you might be longer at those spots.
Yeah, when I was looking for a bus, the bus would have been 14 total stops. It was 8 to get to Skoder, and then 6 from Skoder to Budva. I don't know, time-wise, they said it would be about 6 hours. Unfortunately, ours took about 9. It had more to do with all the people they had to pick up for the tour, and the fact that they picked us up in Durrës before they went to Tirana. So in our case, it was probably a little longer as a result of that. Plus, the border crossings are always long. Ours took about a half an hour, which is actually a pretty good a fair amount of time. It could have been much longer considering all the lines. And the other reason it was slow was because we took the scenic route through Montenegro along the coast and ran into a ton of traffic.
I really think that was probably the main reason why it took us longer to get here, is because we didn't have that many miles really to go.
No, you're
but
right.
it took like, an hour and a half, 2 hours, like,
Yeah.
because the traffic was so heavy.
Yeah.
I think really that is it. And quite honestly, if we would have been on a public bus, we would have hit that too.
Yeah.
The heavy traffic.
So overall, it was a long day by bus, but we had a pleasurable day. And, you know, because it was a tour, we had tour guides that were trying to entertain everybody
Yeah.
within the bus. And we got to
Yes.
meet some people and have good conversations and learn a little bit about their backgrounds.
Yeah.
I remember we met some ladies from Finland, which was exciting because we're going to be in Finland later in the year. And it was fun talking to them to talk about their culture and what to expect when we get there and that kind of stuff. And they were excited for us. And
Yep. And then we met somebody from England.
yes,
Yep. She was a solo traveler.
yeah, she. I didn't really talk too much. I know Petra did.
She was sitting next to me, so
Yeah.
I had more of a conversation. So it was great because I told her we're going to be going to England and the UK, and I showed her some on my schedule, like some of the trips or stops that we're going to make, and so she was also excited for us, and yeah.
So it was a fun ride. I mean, the traffic wasn't fun, but you know what? The rest of it wasn't too bad. And what a deal that was compared to all the alternatives.
Yeah. And so reality, again, you know, the point really of this video was about thinking outside of the box. I don't know, maybe you guys have already thought about that. We hadn't, but thinking outside of the box of how you can get from point A to point B without spending a lot of money, like on private taxis. Maybe the cost of this is even cheaper than a flight, because all of the time, like if you can fly someplace like that, the time you got to be at the airport 2 hours early and all this kind of stuff, or if maybe missing all the connections.
Of that.
Yeah, and all the connections of getting buses or trains, if those are available in your area, is getting maybe hooking up with a tour and you're just going one way.
Yeah.
So it never hurts to reach out and ask them, hey, is this something that we can do? Because in reality, if I owned a tour company, I would say sure, because they're still filling a seat, and they're still making the same amount of money.
That's right.
You know, and it might be a little less crowded on the way back.
Yeah.
And you never know. It opens up seats for the coming back where they can pick up somebody else.
So we just wanted to say, if you found that this information was helpful, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to get useful information such as this, you can click subscribe and the notification bell so that when we have a new video drop, you can get it in your your notifications.
Yeah. And then, you know, let us know in the comments. Is this something that you ever thought about before? Have you ever used this strategy? You know, if so, let us know. This was completely new to us. We had never thought of it.
No.
Right?
Thank you so much for watching. Remember to
dream big,
plan smart, and go explore. Bye-bye.